Wow, so the Eagles were back at practice for OTAs on Thursday, and there's a few guys who have really stuck out and are putting the NFL on notice, including Jordan Davis, who seems to be in fantastic shape, as he said he's ready to take on a bigger role and anchor the defense. And also, cornerback Isaiah Rodgers has been impressing throughout OTAs and making a very real case to start at cornerback this season. Meanwhile, James Bradberry wasn't there yet again, as it seems his days in Philly are numbered, but on the contrary, a few of the Eagles' new additions are giving it their all and are ready to take advantage of their opportunities. Plus, it seems like there's also a battle brewing at linebacker, so let's talk about that and everything else from this Eagles OTA practice, and we won't waste any time, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so the Eagles were back in the building for their second media open OTA practice of the spring, and we started by getting a ton of different clips of the players, including the Birds doing some stretches as a team to warm up, Jalen Hurts and Kenny Pickett also warming up a bit with some simple passes, AJ Brown and the wide receivers doing some drills here, including other guys like Joseph Ngata, Parris, Campbell, and Johnny Wilson. Then we could see the DBs going through their drills, including Reed Blankenship and Avonte Maddox, along with Keely Ringo, who was back at practice after not being there last week, among others. Then we also saw the Eagles offensive line and those starters going through blocking drills, as we can see every starting offensive lineman from the day here, and that includes the new addition Mekhi Becton, as he was filling in for All-Pro right tackle Lane Johnson, who was not there. Now, Becton did have one rough moment from practice, as he apparently let up a sack in 11-on-11s to Brandon Graham, but it is cool to get our first look at him out practicing for the Eagles at the right tackle position with Lane not being there, and I'll be interested to see how he's able to develop under Jeff Stoutland. Now, in addition to Lane, there were some other notable absences from this OTA practice, including Devontae Smith and Josh Sweat, who were also not there last week, Darius Slay, James Bradberry, who again wasn't there, and also CJ Gardner-Johnson. And obviously, the most notable of these absences is James Bradberry, with all the uncertainties surrounding him and his future with the team, and with him not being there for the second straight media open practice, it definitely only adds fuel to the fire that maybe Bradberry's days in Philly could be numbered. And it seems we'll probably get our answer to the question of whether or not the Eagles will decide to cut Bradberry very, very soon, as after June 1st, cutting JB will not hurt the Eagles' bat against the cap, and that date is approaching very rapidly here in a few short days. So again, we'll probably know very shortly whether Bradberry is going to stick around or not. But what do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think JB returns to the team and they don't cut him and they can maybe try to get him back to his All-Pro 2022 form, or do you think they just cut him loose? Or maybe they trade him, who knows? So you guys can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Well, nonetheless, and getting back to Thursday's practice, the starting secondary is obviously very different with no Slay, Bradberry, or CJ GJ, as Keely Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers got the start on the outside with new cornerback Tyler Hall in the slot, and then Avonte Maddox and Reed Blankenship at the safety spot. And the guy that clearly stood out the most from not only this group, but probably just the entire team on Thursday was Isaiah Rodgers, as he looks to not have missed a beat after being suspended for all last year and also changing teams, as he has shined during both of the team's open OTA practices during the spring, and in this one specifically, he made the play of the day, as during 11-on-11s, he jumped to Jalen Hurts' pass and intercepted it and then returned it all the way back for a touchdown. And Rodgers also spoke to the media after practice was over, where he explained how he was able to get right back into the swing of things and also get better despite missing an entire season.
Well, I just kept my schedule as if I was still playing. You know, on Sundays, I use it like a game day, so I do cardio and things like that. I take Tuesdays off as if I was still playing. So I kind of still stayed with the NFL schedule.
Have you noticed any changes in your game since you came back?
I say I'm faster. I think that's the one thing I can say. I worked on my speed this offseason. I worked on my hands. So I think just making plays on the ball is one thing that I definitely played a factor in throughout this offseason, just building up my speed. You know, I envisioned, every time I worked out, I envisioned the A.J. Browns or the Devontae Smiths in front of me. So I think I just kind of locked in during my training and just knowing that when I actually do get back, it's going to be, you know, great receivers in front of me.
It definitely seems to me like Isaiah Rodgers might have a chance of starting for the Eagles at cornerback this year. I mean, I know it's only OTAs, but he's been balling out with the first team, and he was also really, really good and underrated for the Colts when he was there. So even in a crowded cornerback room like the Eagles have, I think he definitely still has a very real shot to start, depending on how things shake out during training camp. But what do you guys think? Now, switching our focus to some other cornerbacks, we look at the two rookies in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, as it seems like the Eagles are continuing to not rush the young guys and just take it slow with them, as they both stayed with the second team on Thursday, and Cooper DeJean actually made a nice play during team drills, getting a pass break up on Kenny Pickett on a sideline throw, so it's definitely nice to hear about the rookies making plays. And while it's still unclear as to whether the Eagles could start either one of these guys in year one, and while we'll probably get a better idea of how much chance they have at doing that during training camp, I think for right now, they're just getting them used to being in the NFL and the new defense that they have to learn and just practicing with the team in general. But again, these two are going to be really fun to watch throughout the offseason, and I'll be curious to see what what kind of roles they have for this team in their rookie season. But now moving on, we switch our attention to the newly signed vet receiver John Ross, as we actually got our first look at him as an official member of the Eagles during this practice, and he actually looked pretty good apparently according to multiple sources, as he was finding ways to get open throughout team drills. Now after practice, Ross spoke to the media where he had a lot to say, including just expressing gratitude to be playing football again and playing for the Eagles, who he actually grew up rooting for, and he also made the bold claim that he thinks he has gotten even faster in his time off while also finding a way to be more consistent.
I think I'm faster, and I know that's going to be crazy to say, but I'm not feeling the same way I felt before physically. So that's why I say I think I'm faster. And when I say that, don't get me wrong, I ran 4.22. I'm not saying I'm 4.15 or anything, but what I'm saying is I just feel better. So I think I can consistently be faster, and I think that was my biggest thing. Like, can this guy go every single day and look the same every single day? And I feel that I'm getting to the point where I can be consistent with my speed. And to me, that's the biggest blessing that I can ask for.
Man, I definitely like the sound of that, and I'll tell you what, I'm definitely rooting for John Ross after today. It just sounds like he's in a really good headspace. He's learned from his previous experiences in the NFL, and he's also grateful for this opportunity, and he also seems hungry as well as confident. Plus, his speed could definitely add a unique element to this Eagles offense, so I hope he goes out there during camp and earns himself a roster or practice squad spot. But what do you guys think about Ross? But now, staying on the topic of wide receivers, we look at Parris Campbell, who also apparently continues to look good and make his case as the early favorite to start at wide receiver 3. I mean, we can see this video of him here on Thursday in drills making a very nice one-handed catch, so that was definitely cool. But it was also cool to hear him talk to the media, where he made the declaration that he is going to take advantage of this opportunity that he has with the Birds.
Another opportunity is all I need. At the end of the day, that's all I wanted. I'm just a guy that's going to try to make the most of the opportunity whenever it comes, whenever it shows. And, I take pride in that. Obviously, the number of opportunities wherever you are may be limited, but that's why I say you got to make the most of them. And each and every day, man, I'm just trying to get better at my craft, being a better teammate, being a better person. All the intangible things, and like I said, when the opportunity comes my way, I just want to make the most of it.
Well, Campbell certainly has made the most of his opportunities so far in Philly, and although it is just OTAs, I'm definitely higher on him and more excited about him now than I was a few weeks ago, and I definitely think at this point he's the favorite to win the wide receiver 3 job. But now, just getting back to some other clips we saw from Thursday's practice, we got to see Saquon Barkley out there again, which is just always really exciting to see, and while we saw a lot of him taking handoffs from Jalen Hurts last practice, this time we saw a lot of him actually catching passes from him, and I definitely think that Saquon's receiving ability is a really exciting skill set and element to add to this Eagles offense that, if utilized correctly, could make a big difference. So I'm excited to see how the Birds take advantage of that this year. But what I wasn't too excited about was the fact that Jalen Hurts didn't have the greatest day, as he did throw 2 interceptions, with one being an 11-on-11s to Isaiah Rodgers that of course was returned for a touchdown, and also one in 7-on-7s that was tipped up in the air and picked off by Zack Baun. But I do want to just stress that Jalen having a not so great day in OTAs, while not ideal, is definitely not the end of the world. I mean, we got no reason to worry. It is just one practice in OTAs, so it's fine, and let's move on from that. Let's not even make a big deal about it. And I actually want to backtrack a bit to Zack Baun, who is another guy that seems to be taking advantage of his opportunity, as this interception only reinforces the Birds' decision to play him with the first team at inside linebacker during practices. And what I really think is very interesting about the fact that Baun is getting these snaps is the fact that Nakobe is now back. He actually was able to participate in team drills on Thursday, but he didn't take all the first team reps, as in fact, he rotated with Baun during 7-on-7s and then rotated with Devin White in 11-on-11s. So it is possible that the Eagles are just slowly working him back as he's coming off an injury, but it really does seem to me like the Birds could be higher on Baun than we initially expected, and it definitely seems like there could be a battle brewing for one of these starting linebacker jobs. So that'll be something to keep your eye on as we get deeper into the offseason and as we hit training camp here in a few months. And something else to keep your eye on is going to be the condition of Jordan Davis, as everyone knows that the biggest question for JD this year is, can he stay in shape? Well, it seems like he's off to a great start, as not only did he have an impressive play on Thursday, getting a sack in 11-on-11s, but he also looks to be really slimmed down and in great shape. And JD spoke to this after practice in a press conference, as he said that he is in shape after making some lifestyle changes and he's ready for a bigger role.
Definitely improvement, man, from all bullets and points on the board. It's one thing I've been focused on, just getting better. Obviously, stepping into a much larger role than I was last year. And, I know what's expected of me. But in terms of just being in my best shape, I'm getting in the best condition of my life.
How'd you go about changing your conditioning? Was it something that you focused on more than you had in the past?
Yeah, it's just diet. Really just diet. Cutting out the juice and shit. cutting out the juice and stuff. Yeah, but like stuff like that, just making minor changes to lifestyle, you know, being more active in my lifestyle.
Do you think you'll be able to handle the snap, like significantly more snaps per game?
Definitely. I'll be able to answer the call. I know it's required of me. I know Vic is leaning on me. I know the D-line's leaning on us. So I definitely think that I'll be able to handle it. That's what I'm working for. Nobody's coming to save us now. So, you know, we got to put the load on our backs. And that's coming from, you know, me, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Marlon. It's just everybody. We got more that's expected of us, so we have to go out there and show it.
Man, I definitely love that. I mean, it sounds like Davis made it his mission to be in shape, and now it's just about staying consistent, staying in shape, and making plays out on the field. So I feel like JD can definitely break out this year, but again, he just has to stay consistent, he has to stay in shape, and he has to be that dominant run-stuffing nose tackle that everyone knows he can become. So what do you guys think? Do you expect JD to have a breakout year, or do you not? I mean, Nolan Smith certainly seems confident in JD and the shape that he's in.
If you can't tell, that boy look good. He nice and slim. He running around. He doing box drills like it's nothing. And the box drill, really, I told him it's like a linebacker drill. It's not an easy drill, especially if you go out there and do it right now. I bet you would die. So yeah.
But Nolan himself also looks like he's gotten into better shape and even said that he's bulked up a bit from where he was last year, and now he enters the season with hopes of developing and making a bigger impact on this defense, as he said that this is the year he thinks he's going to be able to turn the corner, as well as providing more juice to the defense.
Just learning. I'm just learning. I'm taking the same attitude and approach I did last year, trying to help the team any way I can, still be that juice, that energy guy, always picking people up. And just really, I can't climb with my brother falling, like JD said. So I'm just here just to learn, fly around. And I feel like this that year I turn the corner, just me and just watching the game and just studying.
I definitely think Nolan is going to take a big step forward this year from where he was last year, and I'm just excited to see how he looks during training camp and then what his role in production will look like when we actually get to the regular season. Now, OTAs are not over, but there will be no more media coverage sessions. However, mandatory minicamp is next week, where the Eagles will be out on the field for 3 straight days, so you better believe a ton is going to come out of that. So I'm going to be covering it all here on this channel, so if you don't want to miss any of that, make sure you subscribe, and also really, really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when one of these videos is uploaded. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like to show some support. If you did enjoy this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. And also leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you want to watch another video covering the Birds and just recent news from the offseason, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.